Alrighty, everyone. That clickety clack sound means it's time for TV Oblivion, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis. This is episode 11, season 1. Today's date is July 24th, 2022. And thank you for joining me today. We have an interesting show coming up. I discuss shows from each decade, from the late 40s to the 2000s. I will tell you the lineup for today's show, but first we go into a commercial break. And this program is brought to you by Absorbine Junior. It's for stiff muscles and arthritis and other things that ails us, that makes us old, which we are old, but when we apply this stuff, we become young again. So here's a commercial from 1981 featuring Bobby Hull from the Chicago Blackhawks. Okay, so sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you.
Way to go, guys. I'm Bobby Hull. I played it rough for 23 years with the big guys. I used Absorbine Junior then for my sore aching muscles, and believe me, I still do. Absorbine Junior really loosens up stiff, hurting muscles. Just rub Absorbine Junior in. That warmth soaks right down to help relieve those sore, aching muscles. Get yourself some Absorbine Junior. I call it the sore muscle medicine.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Absorbine Junior. This product is still around. It's called Absorbine Plus. They changed the name in 2013. And I used this product once. One time I had a stiff muscle on my lower back, and I used that. It was a good product. It's like Get Bed Gay. It's just still around too. Okay. And the spokesperson was, of course, Bobby Hull. And he played for the Chicago Blackhawks, and he's still around. He's 83 years old. Wonderful man. And he also played for the Winnipeg Jets, and also for the Hartford Whalers. So he's a good man, and if you're a big hockey fan, he was excellent. Okay. Right now, at the beginning of the program, I was going to say that I will talk about today's lineup for this episode of TV Oblivion. And here we go. The lineup consists of, from the late 1940s, the Aldrich family. From the 1950s, the TV drama Johnny Staccato. From the 1960s, the anime series Hot Wheels. Also from the 1970s is Detective School, that was a sitcom. From the 1980s, Peaceable Kingdom, that was a drama starring Lindsay Wagner from The Bionic Woman. Also from the 1990s, the law drama Family Law. And from the 2000s, a sitcom called Hank that starred Kelsey Grammer. Okay. And so we're going to get started with Henry Aldrich. So this will be fun. And it was a good show. So I will start right now with the history of that. Okay. And the Aldrich family was a radio show. It premiered on July 2nd, 1939, ended April 19th, 1953. And it was on radio for a long time, and they had a turnover of cast members, so I won't go into that because there was too many people. Also, they made B movies, and they were filmed in, there were 11 of them. There was from between 1939 and 1944. And let's see, the first two films featured Jackie Cooper, and the remaining 9 films starred Jimmy Lydon. He passed away about a couple of years ago, I believe. Yeah, he did. And then we have the TV show. The TV show premiered in October 2nd, 1949 on NBC, and it had let's see, for the role of Henry Aldrich was played by 5 actors, and that's a lot. And other characters included Mrs. Aldrich, Henry's sister Mary, and his best friend Homer, and there was also their father. And he was played by House Jameson, and he played all through the TV series. And I remember him watching an episode of Dark Shadows, and he was in the show. He played a judge. Interesting, like that. And so right now, I'm going to play the theme song of Henry Aldrich, and you will hear that familiar opening when his mother's calling his name, Henry Aldrich. I love that. And this program is sponsored by Jello. So sit back and enjoy. And then when I come back, I will discuss a little more trivia about the show. Thank you.
Henry Aldrich! Oh, coming, Mother. Jello.
The big red letter stands for the Jello family. Oh, the big red letter stands for the Jello family. That's Jello.
Yum, yum, yum.
Jello pudding, yum, yum, yum. Jello tapioca pudding, jam celery. And the new Jello rice pudding. Jello.
Okay, I am back. Excuse me. That was the opening for the Aldrich family. You heard his mother screaming Henry Aldrich, and it was sponsored by Jello. When I forgot to mention House Jameson's character's name, he played his father. His name was Sam Aldrich, and you know the show. Also at the radio show, they had to turn over cast members, and also not just the actors that played Henry Aldrich. It was also his sister, his mother, and etc. His friend Homer. There was one actress. Her name was Jean Muir. She played Henry Aldrich's mother for one episode, and then she was accused. She was suspected to be a communist. You know, they had the red channels during the 50s, and she denied all that, and that ruined her career. And because she was in the movies, and she's a very pretty lady, which is a shame, you know. But she played one episode. That's terrible. Okay. Next show I will talk about is Johnny Staccato. And this starred John Cassavetes, and it premiered from September 10th, 1959 through March 20th, 1960. And the plot of the show was he was a jazz pianist, private detective. So he had two jobs, you know, he was moonlighting. And it's set in the Greenwich Village Jazz Club in New York City. And there was one cast member, his friend Waldo. He owned the jazz club. Is portrayed by Eduardo Cianelli or Cianelli. I can't pronounce Italian. But this show had a lot of guest stars, and John Cassavetes was a wonderful actor. You know, Greek American. Oh, wonderful. He's famous for his role in Guy. I forgot his last name in the 1968 movie Rosemary's Baby. You know, and he became a famous director. I believe his son Nick is also a director. Also, his daughter Zoe, she's a director as well. And his wife was Gina Rollins. She's still with us. A wonderful actress. And she did star in the TV show. She really did. And so I have the show on DVD, and I bought it, and I loved it. You know, it has that catchy jazz theme song, you know, and it was, you know, in the locations in New York City. But believe it or not, it was filmed in Los Angeles, but it looked like New York, like most TV shows. So here's the theme song of Johnny Staccato. So sit back and enjoy, everybody. Thank you. Okay, I'm back. I hope you enjoyed the opening theme song for Giant Staccato that starred John Cassavetes. A few notable guest stars who were in the show was Elizabeth Montgomery and Mary Tyler Moore, one of her earliest roles. And I remember I watched the entire TV series on DVD. It's been years since I've watched it, but I'm going to rewatch it again because it's a fun show. It's that wonderful era in the late 50s, early 60s, New York City. It's a lot of fun. It reminds me of Peter Gunn. That's what it does. Okay. Next up, I will talk from the 1960s. I will talk about Hot Wheels, the animated series. Now, this is a forgotten show, and I seem to remember this show very well. So I'll give you a background of that. Okay, and this premiered in 1969. Let me get the date. It premiered September 6, 1969, and it ran, ran for 2 seasons and ended at September 4th, 1971. And it was compiled. It was 17 episodes, but with 34 segments. So they were sort of like two episodes per show. And the premise of the show was it's about these kids, these teenagers. They were competing in races, and what's interesting about the show that the people complained it was like a somebody complained about that it was like a 30-minute commercial for Hot Wheels, like an infomercial, like these days. Well, I don't know. And I saw a clip on YouTube, and it's a pretty good show, and it's from and the voices of the show. The most famous ones was Casey Kasem, of course, did Shaggy from Scooby Doo. Also, Albert Brooks, the famous director, comedian, actor. Oh, funny man. Yeah, that's one of his earliest roles. He did a voice. He was a voice actor, and right now I'm going to play the theme song of Hot Wheels from 1969. And when I come back, I'll tell you a little memory about this show and what it meant to me a lot. So here we go.
Hot Wheels! Hot Wheels! Always chasing, always racing. Hot Wheels! Hot Wheels! Keep it turning now, keep it burning now, keep it turning. Hot Wheels! Hot Wheels! Hot Wheels! Always chasing, always racing. Hot Wheels! Hot Wheels! Keep it turning now, keep it burning now, keep it turning. Hot Wheels! Daytona, Indianapolis, and Bonneville. Dune buggies keep a climbing up a sandy hill. Hot Wheels, Hot Wheels, always chasing, always racing. Hot Wheels, keep a turning. Hot Wheels.
Okay, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Hot Wheels from 1969. Um, when I was a kid, I collected Hot Wheels cars. Not a big collection. I used to buy them. My mother bought them for me at there was a department store, and the toy section was at Gately's People Store in Chicago in the Roseland neighborhood. And also, when I was in first grade, I had my first lunchbox, and the lunchbox was Hot Wheels, a very colorful, with a thermos. Oh, beautiful lunchbox. That was one of my favorites. I loved it. And so Hot Wheel cars are still made today, and the older ones from when they were created, they're collectibles. So, they're even rare ones, you can cash in on those. That's amazing. Excuse me. Okay, next show I'm going to talk about is Detective School. This is a TV sitcom from 1979. I remember this show very well. It was funny. So I'll give you a little history on that. Okay, there was 13 episodes, and it premiered on July 31st, 1979, ended at November 24th, 1969. It ran for 2 seasons, but it ran in the summer of '79. It only aired 3 episodes, and then it premiered in the fall in September 16th. I guess it was very popular. And when it premiered, I was not in America. I was in Greece on vacation with my family. So I caught maybe the third episode or fourth when it premiered in September. I started watching that. I think it aired Saturday nights. And the cast consists of James Gregory. He was the teacher of the class. You know him from Luger, from Barney Miller. Also, there was Douglas Fowley. His character's name was Robert Redford, as in the actor. The other cast members was Randolph Mantooth. You remember him from Emergency, the TV show. There was Melinda Nod, and the actress Melinda Nod, that is. Taylor Negron. He played a disco dancer. I remember him. He's a funny man. He's a comedian. And there was Pat Proft. He played a salesman. And last but not least, LaWanda Page and Esther from Sanford Son, and she played a housewife. And it was like the same character as Esther. She made me laugh. I loved her. She was wonderful. And I remember watching the show, and I enjoyed it very much. I really did. And but it was canceled. Ratings were bad. Maybe the show suffered, but it was enjoyable. I loved it. I don't think you can find it on DVD. I doubt it. But here's the theme song of Detective School from 1979. So sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Detective School. Like I said before, it was very short-lived, but it was funny, like that. And the cast of the characters went on cases, and they learned, and they get into situations were funny, predictable, of course, but it was endearing. I liked it, And LaWanda Page is always famously remembered for Ed Astor trading barbs with Red Fox. That's a classic show. I love the show so much. You know. Okay, next TV show I will talk about is Peaceable Kingdom, and it was a TV drama, and it starred Lindsay Wagner from The Bionic Woman, and the plot was she managing director of the Los Angeles County Zoo, and she was recently widowed, and she had 3 children. Her character's name was Rebecca Cafferty, and the rest of the cast members that are well known was David Aykroyd, not Dan Aykroyd from Saturday Night Live. David Aykroyd, he was an actor, and he was the first Gary Ewing on Knots Landing, but he did not. He did appear in Knots Landing, but as a different character. But he appeared as Gary Ewing in Dallas when when Dallas was on. He was introduced the character. And he was only there for, I think, 1 season, 1 episode. That's it. And then Ted Shackelford took over the role for the remainder of the time, on Dallas and Knots Landing. And also the rebooted series, Dallas, he appeared there. And also Tom Wopat, who is famous for Dukes of Hazzards, he was there. And it ran for 12 episodes. Then it was ratings were terrible. There were 5 that were unaired, and I think the rest of them were broadcasted in Europe. So I did watch the show. I remember it, and it premiered on September 20th, 1989. Canceled November 15th, 1989, which is a shame. You know, it's because Lindsay Wagner is she's a beautiful lady, beautiful actress, and I loved her, and Bionic Woman. So right now I'm going to play the theme song of Peaceable Kingdom, and when I come back, I'll talk about a little more about Lindsay Wagner. Okay, so here we go. Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Peaceable Kingdom. About Lindsay Wagner, I attended a comic book convention in outside of Chicago, in Rosemont, Illinois. It was a Wizard World, and she was there. And I met her. I shook her hand. I didn't get a picture from her because they charge you for that, but I wish I did. But she was lovely, lovely lady, and looks good for her age. And I told her I love the Bionic Woman. I love the TV show, and you started. And she said thank you. She loves to hear from fans. She really does. She's very appreciative. Okay. Next show coming up, I will talk about is Family Law, and it was a drama series, and it took place at a law firm. And let's see, it ran for 3 seasons, 68 episodes. Premiered September 20th, 1999, ended May 27th, 2002. Had a good cast, it really did. And it starred Kathleen Quinlan as Lynn Holt, and it's about her husband, and he dumped her, and he ran off, and so she took over I believe she took over the law office, and well, no, she didn't take over. I mean, he dumped her in the office, so she started her own. I'm sorry about that. And the other cast members was Christopher McDonald. You've seen him on TV shows and movies all over the place. He's a good actor. Also, Dixie Carter from Designing Women. Julia Sugarbaker. She played Randy King, and she was good in that show. I liked her. Also, there was other cast members, but there was an addition to season 2, and there was Tony Danza. It was his first drama, in a drama TV series, his first role. And I watched him. He was pretty good, but you don't know him as Tony Banta from Taxi. And of course, Tony Vaselli from Who's the Boss? So, but he was good in that, and it ran for 3 seasons. Did okay in the ratings. Then it declined, and then it was canceled, which is a shame. And so I'm going to play the theme song of Family Law. It's the 1970 song War, but this is not Edwin Starr singing. This is from season 2. It was somebody else. So here is the theme song of Family Law. So sit back and enjoy, everyone. Thank you.
Say it.
Okay, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the theme song for Family Law. You've heard that version of War that was recorded by Edwin Starr, somebody else, but they did use his song seasons 1 and 3. This is bizarre. I don't know why. Hmm. Anyway, that show is not syndicated much. It's on, last I heard, it was on some cable channel called Star TV, and they showed the show, and I did watch the show when it originally aired. I saw a few episodes. It was good, and also reran. I saw the reruns. What's special about this show is Delta Burke from Designing Women guest starred on the show with Dixie Carter. They had a feud in Designing Women, and then Delta Burke left. She got fired from the show because it was about her weight and the conditions working. And because Dixie Carter and her husband Hal Holbrook sided with the Thomasons, they're I think the producer Linda Bloodworth Thomason and her husband Harry, and so they were good friends, and then they had a falling out, and that was terrible. And they didn't speak to each other for about 12 years, and then all of a sudden, I don't know how this happened. They brought Delta in, and then they hugged and kissed, and everything was fine, and it was wonderful. I'm glad because those two were wonderful actresses, and they were friends, and it was a big mess. And unfortunately, Dixie Carter died in 2010. So she was a good singer, good actress. And when she got mad, it was hilarious. She's so elegant. Anyway, so the last show I'm going to talk about is, believe it or not, called Hank. Not to be confused with the TV show. There was a TV show called Hank that premiered in 1965. I'll talk about that show in a later episode. And but this one was premiered in 2009, and that's our Kelsey Grammer, which I'm surprised, right off of Frasier. But this sitcom aired on ABC. It aired from September 30th, 2009 to November 4th. And it only had 10 episodes, but 5 only aired. That's unusual. Well, I think I know what happened. It didn't do very well. So I'll give you the premise of the show. Kelsey Grammer played Hank Pryor. He was like a big business executive, very successful, and he lost his job. And he was CEO, and then they relocated from New York City to a small town in River Bend, Virginia. Him and his family, his wife and his family, excuse me. And the cast consisted of his wife was played by Melinda McGraw. She played a lot of TV shows. I think she's NCIS. Also, she played Dana Scully's sister on The X-Files. And David Koechner, he played Grady Funk. He played Melinda McGraw's brother. And he was a hillbilly, and him and Kelsey Grammer didn't get along on the show, so there was conflict. That's what made it funny. I saw the show a couple times. I liked it. It was okay, but it wasn't very popular. And Kelsey Grammer didn't like working there, and he wanted to cancel. He begged to be canceled. But I'm going to play the theme song right now. It's very short, and then when I come back, I'll talk a little bit more about that. So sit back and relax. It's very brief. It's like zip. Here we go. Okay, I'm back. That was a very quick theme song for Hank, the 2009 series. Interesting. Kingsley Grammer one was interviewed by Larry King on his show and said he called the Warner Brothers production company. I want this canceled. I don't like this show. I don't like working. It's not funny. I'm not enjoying it. He had a point. And so they did. And the rest of the remaining shows aired in England in its entirety. I doubt this will be released on DVD. Maybe. I don't know. Unless somebody recorded it and put it on a bootleg DVD. And but Kelsey Grammer still acts, and he's famous for Frasier on Cheers and his own TV show, which I hate to say this, but I liked him on Frasier than on Cheers. And Frasier, he was wonderful. You know, he was funny. And I heard they're doing a reboot, and they're going to bring back the cast members, I think. Not John Mahoney, he passed away, so that's going to be odd. I don't know if Eddie will be back, the dog, so we'll see about that. So there's another TV sitcom went into oblivion, gone. Okay, so I'll do a recap of what I discussed today. Here we go. Here's a lineup. In the late 1940s, I talk about the Aldrich family. From the 1950s, Johnny Staccato. From the 1960s, Hot Wheels, the animated series. From the 1970s, Detective School. From the 1980s, Peaceable Kingdom. And from 1990s, Family Law. And the 2000s, Hank. So once this podcast is published, please subscribe, subscribe to the podcast. It will be available on any podcast that's out there. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Amazon Music, Spotify, and I also have my own YouTube channel called TV Oblivion. You can listen there as well. And so it's going very well. I've started this podcast last month, and it's only 11 episodes, so it needs time to catch on. So, you know, and I enjoy talking about television. I'm a big couch potato. I love history of the show, and I talk about shows that are rarely syndicated, but there are shows that were successful, but they don't air in reruns anymore, and shows that they were there and woof, gone the next. Okay, so this is Pico Sanchez, your host of TV Oblivion. This is episode 11, season 1. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had a good time. And right now, I'm going to play the end theme song for TV Oblivion, Pluck and Pluck. So sit back and enjoy. And hope you can tune in on the next episode for episode 12. Should be next weekend. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.